You lie down on your back, beneath you, layers of soft Russian sedge grass, cut fresh that morning, flattened by dozens of bodies before yours. Under that, a thin ash layer still faintly warm from the fire it once smothered. It's roughly 77,000 years ago, on a rock shelf above a river in what's now South Africa. This, not a mattress, not a frame, not a single spring, is where you'll spend the next 8 hours unconscious and completely exposed. Right now, you might be reading this from a bed with foam engineered in a lab, a frame bolted together, sheets washed in a machine on a timer. None of that existed for more than 99% of the time humans have been lying down to sleep. So how did ancient humans actually sleep, night after night, for hundreds of thousands of years, without a single bed? In 2011, archaeologist Lynn Wadley at the University of the Witwatersrand published findings from Sibudu Cave, a rock shelter overlooking the Tombati River. Her team dated layered plant bedding, sedge and rush stems, pressed into thick mats, to roughly 77,000 years old. That's not a rough guess. It's the oldest confirmed bedding on Earth, but the mat wasn't the discovery that mattered most. Beneath the top layer, Wadley's team found crushed leaves from Cryptocarya woodea, a plant with natural insect-repelling properties. Ancient people weren't just lying on the ground and hoping for the best. They were engineering it, building bug-resistant bedding, and periodically burning the old layer before laying fresh material on top. So if that technology existed 77,000 years ago, why does primitive sleep still get imagined as people collapsing onto bare dirt? Here's where the story gets stranger. In 2001, historian A. Roger Eckerch at Virginia Tech published research after combing through more than 500 historical documents, diaries, court records, medical texts from pre-industrial Europe. He found repeated references to first sleep and second sleep, two distinct blocks separated by an hour or more of quiet wakefulness in the middle of the night. People used that gap to pray, talk, or just lie in the dark. His book, At Day's Close, argued this two-part night was the human default before artificial light rewired it into one unbroken block. Everyone assumes that pattern stretches back through all of human history, that for 250,000 years, every night on Earth split neatly in half. The truth is messier, and the strongest evidence against a universal split comes from people alive today who never adopted electric light in the first place. In 2015, sleep researcher Jerome Siegel at UCLA studied 3 hunter-gatherer and forager societies still living without electricity: the Hadza of Tanzania, the San of Namibia, the Semena of Bolivia, across more than 1,100 recorded nights. His team found almost no segmented sleep. People slept in one consolidated block, averaging 6, 4 to 7, 2 hours a night, less than most modern sleep guidelines recommend. They went to bed a few hours after sunset and woke before sunrise. No midnight prayer hour, no two-part night, just one long stretch, start to finish. So which is it? A split night? Or one long unbroken block? Physiology might explain both answers at once. In 1999, Charles Czeisler, a circadian researcher at Harvard Medical School, published findings in Science after isolating volunteers from clocks, daylight, and schedules for weeks at a stretch. Freed from every artificial cue, the human body settled into its own rhythm, averaging 18 hours per cycle, remarkably close to an actual day. Strip out electric light completely, his data suggests, and the body defaults toward one long dark period for rest. Whether that period stays whole or splits in two depends on something else entirely: how long the darkness itself lasts. So maybe the real answer isn't that ancient humans slept one specific way. The real answer is that sleep bent around whatever the season and the latitude demanded. 16 hours of winter darkness in northern Europe left room for a night to split into 2 acts with a pause in between. A shorter, steadier night near the equator didn't leave that room, and didn't need it. The bed was never the technology that decided how a person slept. Darkness was the technology, and it wrote the shape of the night long before anyone thought to build a mattress. You're still lying on that rush mat above the river, 77,000 years ago, and the fire has burned down to coals. Somewhere above you, the sky is doing something you'll never see again in your lifetime. No glow from a city 30 miles off, no screen light, nothing at all between your eyes and actual darkness. Tonight you'll fall asleep faster than any of them ever could, cushioned by foam built in a factory, and wake up more tired anyway. They never needed a mattress engineered in a lab. They needed the dark to be dark, and that, it turns out, is the one thing modern life never gave back.